December 15, 1995. A date Marcus Johnson would never forget, no matter how hard he tried. As the police officers slammed him against the cold, hard metal of his car, handcuffing him in front of his crying mother, he kept screaming the same words over and over, his voice cracking with desperation. "I didn't do it. I didn't do it." But his pleas fell on deaf ears. In the eyes of the law, Marcus was already guilty of a crime he never committed, a sin he never even contemplated. In that moment, as the officers shoved him into the back seat of the cruiser, the life he had known, the future he had envisioned, shattered into a million pieces. Before that fateful December morning, Marcus Johnson was just another 23-year-old trying to navigate the complexities of life in South Chicago. A promising college student, he balanced his studies with a part-time job at his father's auto repair shop, always dreaming of the day he could open his own business and provide for his family. His mother, Denise, would often remark about the way his smile could light up an entire room, how his infectious positivity could lift the spirits of even the most downtrodden soul. But that smile, that light, was about to disappear for the next 2 decades, buried beneath the weight of a justice system that was anything but just. The morning news reports that fateful day had sent shockwaves through the community. A brutal murder, the owner of a local convenience store gunned down in cold blood during a late-night robbery. Grainy security footage showed the silhouette of a tall, black man in a red hoodie fleeing the scene. That's all it took, that's all it ever takes sometimes. Marcus owned a red hoodie. Marcus was tall. Marcus had once bought cigarettes from that very store. In the eyes of a rushed, sloppy investigation that made him guilty. The trial itself was a farce, a mockery of everything the American justice system was supposed to stand for. It lasted just 3 days to destroy 20 years of a man's life. The public defender, overworked and underpaid, slept through key testimonies, failing to cross-examine witnesses or challenge the prosecution's flimsy evidence. The prosecution, on the other hand, presented a star witness, a known drug addict who would later admit to being coerced into testifying against Marcus. And the all-white jury, seated in a city still grappling with the legacy of racial injustice, deliberated for a mere 2 hours before reaching their verdict: guilty. 25 years to life. In the days and weeks that followed, Marcus's world crumbled around him. His mother, Denise, fell into a deep depression, her faith in the system she had always trusted shattered beyond repair. His father, Michael, threw himself into his work at the shop, using physical labor as a means of coping with the unimaginable. Marcus's younger siblings, once carefree and full of promise, were forced to grow up far too quickly, forced to accept the harsh reality that the brother they knew and loved had been taken from them, possibly forever. And for Marcus, the transition to prison life hit him like a freight train, shattering both his body and his spirit. The first year, he lost nearly 40 pounds, his once vibrant frame withering away under the oppressive weight of confinement. He stopped speaking for months on end, his cellmate reporting that Marcus would wake up screaming every night, reliving the moment the judge read the verdict that would change the course of his life. But there was something deep within Marcus, a spark that refused to be extinguished, a will to survive that defied the most brutal of circumstances. As the days turned into weeks, the weeks into months, and the months into years, Marcus slowly began to rebuild, to reclaim the pieces of himself that the system had tried so desperately to take away. He immersed himself in education, devouring books on history, philosophy, and the law, determined to understand the very mechanisms that had failed him so spectacularly. He mentored younger inmates, guiding them through the maze of prison politics and offering them a glimmer of hope in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. And he never, not once, stopped fighting to prove his innocence, to reclaim the life that had been stolen from him. The year was 2015, 20 long years since Marcus had been ripped from his family and his freedom. And just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the Innocence Project, a non-profit organization dedicated to exonerating the wrongfully convicted, finally took interest in his case. What they found was nothing short of staggering. The original investigation, riddled with errors and oversights, had completely missed critical pieces of evidence: DNA evidence that had never been tested, security footage that had been conveniently cropped and edited, a witness who had been paid to lie. It was a systematic failure, a deliberate attempt to railroad an innocent man and lock him away, never to be heard from again. But the system that had rushed to convict Marcus moved with agonizing slowness when it came to freeing him. Every appeal was met with resistance. Every new piece of evidence faced bureaucratic hurdles that seemed designed to delay and obfuscate. Marcus watched helplessly as his parents aged through the confines of the prison visiting room, as his younger siblings had children of their own, as the world he once knew continued to move on without him. And then, on June 26, 2015, another date that would be seared into Marcus's memory, the moment of reckoning finally arrived. As the judge spoke those 3 words, "Case is dismissed," Marcus didn't scream or shout. He simply wept, silent tears of both joy and sorrow streaming down his face. 20 years, 7,300 days, lost to a system that had failed him at every turn. Walking out of the prison gates, Marcus faced a world he barely recognized. Smartphones, social media, a black president, the trappings of a society that had advanced in ways he could scarcely have imagined. But the hardest change to accept was the time stolen from him, the irreplaceable moments with his family, the milestones he had missed, the dreams he had been forced to abandon. Yet, despite the anger and the bitterness that threatened to consume him, Marcus refused to let the darkness win. He channeled his pain into purpose, founding a non-profit organization dedicated to helping other wrongfully convicted individuals reclaim their lives and their freedom. The smile his mother once spoke of with such fondness had returned, but it now carried a weight, a wisdom forged in the crucible of injustice, a triumph over tragedy. Today, Marcus Johnson's story is not just one of injustice, but of resilience, of holding on to truth when the whole world calls you a liar, of maintaining dignity in a system designed to strip it away. It's a testament to the power of the human spirit, a shining example of how even the most daunting of obstacles can be overcome through determination, courage, and an unwavering belief in the pursuit of justice. Marcus's journey is a reminder that the fight for equality and fairness is far from over, that the work of dismantling systemic racism and rebuilding a truly just society is a never-ending battle. But it's also a beacon of hope, a source of inspiration for those who refuse to accept the status quo, who dare to dream of a world where the content of one's character, not the color of their skin, is the measure of a person. 20 years. For a crime he didn't commit. Marcus Johnson lost his youth, but he never lost his truth. And in the end, truth prevailed. His story is a testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of justice can still shine through. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I've got more incredible stories of courage and survival coming your way. These are the stories that need to be told, the voices that need to be heard. Thanks for watching.